Welcome to another Corporate Confessions. Today I want to go over a story that literally led to one of my most utilized tactics in corporate training. And this is something that you can do in your day-to-day life and also at a business level. So let's dive right in. About 8 or 9 years ago, I had a branding company come to me because the person that was leading their account had a lot of problems with communication, and they wanted me to work with him before he was pitching to what was their biggest account. It was like, they were usually doing smaller sort of size contracts, and this was something huge, and they had to present in front of like the whole executive team and so on and so forth. So they send this guy over, and ironically, he worked 2 blocks away from the office. So he just comes in. I said, listen, have him come in. Let's see what I'm working with. And I've worked with a lot of people over the years when it comes to communication. He was probably one of the most manic, definitely ADHD. He would basically he couldn't look you in the eyes. So I would ask him questions and he'd sort of be pacing, and he was always playing with his key ring. He had this weird keychain he would be playing. He's looking around, it's and his tonality would shift, and he was literally all over the place. And it was one of these moments where I was like, I don't think I could do anything over the course of the next 48 hours. So when I spoke to them, I was like, listen, I see the problem. This is something that usually takes me months to work on and with teams of people, because there's a lot of stuff here basically. And then that night, I don't know where it came from, but I was like, wait, we're approaching this situation completely, this is all wrong. We should be doubling down on his movement. And essentially what I did is I called him back up and I said, listen, we're going to have to create something called a speech. And a speech is basically a way of reframing a dynamic. So instead of just sending this guy in there, we basically had them call the people and say, listen, we're putting the Leonardo da Vinci of our company on your account. He's a little bit crazy, but he is a creative genius, and it's going to be perfect for your organization. And what it did was it allows you to reframe all the weird, odd movements and the things that people think are socially sort of outliers as genius. So when the person's sitting there and he's moving around, he's thinking and he's pacing and he's a little bit chaotic, all they're seeing is the genius that this person's going to provide for the brand. Right? So, and this became something I've used in hedge funds. I mean, I've used this everywhere. It's basically reframing a behavior to support the narrative that you want to create. It's super simple. It's super easy. Another example of this is I work with hedge funds where they wanted to make essentially the quants. It was a quantitative fund, and they wanted to make the people that were really driving all the innovations in the firm, they wanted to show them off in a sales dynamic. But the problem was, these people didn't really care about the sales side. They would sort of just walk into meetings and look on their phone. So we preambled it, or we created this sort of speech about, listen, we're about to send you our geniuses, just so you know, they don't care about the social stuff. They care about making money and creating algorithms and so on and so forth. And then every time they would look on their phone, you would see that level of genius. You wouldn't see something's wrong. So pretty much any aspect of your communication can be hedged. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback I give people is, instead of just trying to correct the behavior, provide a frame for it, or provide a story or a speech that allows to shape the narrative that you want to create. So I've used this in so many different contexts, like I said before. Hope this was helpful. A lot of other corporate confessions that I discuss directly come from this story. It was like a pivotal moment where I was like, stop changing behavior, just reframe it. So that's about it. For my random ending, right now I have an insane headache. I don't know if you see it in my head. I have a light sensitivity. So I know I make a lot of videos, but I can only be under light for 2 hours or else everything becomes blurry. So right now my head's killing me because of that. If any of you have any solutions for reducing light sensitivity, I've looked at all these institutes and stuff. Please comment below. Let me know.